Hi everyone, it is Ray from Ray Life Coaching at Middle River Yoga Studio. Can you believe it? It looks a little different than the last few videos. We are outside on the little patio or balcony, and you'll hear some street noises, so I apologize for that. But sometimes you can meditate around chaos, and so that's a little bit of what today is about. And also the purpose sometimes for me on why I meditate, to help me be still centered no matter where I am. How do we do that? So as you can tell, my hair is a different color today. I wasn't even thinking about this until saying this, but yesterday was actually almost every day is like this lately, but where I had changes, big just like I plan something, right? We plan for life sometimes, and we think, oh, I'm going to go do this, and then things happen, and either we resist and say no, or we go with it, or maybe there's a combination of both. But yesterday I got home and I was like, I'm gonna get this and this done, and then my hairdresser called and said, where are you? I'm like, but you said you didn't have an appointment until September. And she's like, no, August. And I was like, okay. So I could have just said no and just rescheduled, right? I could have just done that. And funny enough, that day I had been listening to Elrod, I think it's Elrod, and he was talking about, being able to surrender, the surrender experiment by John, I think it's John. Oh gosh. Trying to remember the guy's name. He lives in Florida because I met him. Oh my gosh, I'll remember. I'll put it down in the notes. And just so you know, the notes are coming for the previous videos. I've just not had enough time to write it down and post it. But that being said, Singer, John Singer. So the surrender experiment, and Hal Elrod was talking about in his podcast that he is needing to surrender, and so he reread this book, The Surrender Experiment by John Singer, and he was like, he's writing this, he's revising this book and adding his personal book, Hal Elrod, and how when things change, it's like going with the flow of life instead of going against the current. And things change, right? I mean, that is inevitable, but we so try to pretend it isn't. We try to believe that we know things. And yesterday I talked about labels. That's the way we try to help ourselves really deny that we actually know very little. We know very little. And so how do we surrender? How do we allow ourselves to play in this game of life? Because we are in, I love this. I just heard this morning with one of my favorite podcasters, is Cathy Heller. And she said, we're in a human suit doing a human experience. Our energy, whatever you want to call it, the thing that keeps us alive is the thing, or the thing that keeps us conscious really, is the thing that I would call spirit. And that leaves and enters the body, in many different ways. And so we want to be more conscious in this body. And how do we do that is really realizing that this world, this life that we live, is our choosing in a way. Like, how are we going to be present here and go with that flow and see it as a play and a dream and exciting and new, and I have no idea, like a child, right? Like surprised about everything, excited about everything. Yes, having feelings and expressing them. So here we are doing change for you. Out in nature. Nature in itself is change. We try to keep it in a box, right? We try to know it, and so that we know how to be with it. Well, what if we don't know how to be with it? How are we that? How can we be that? Sitting in that uncomfortability, sitting in those feelings and thoughts, like in meditation, that just don't feel so good. And acknowledging them as separate. They are just history. Really, they're just history. Or our story. They are what we choose to make them. Just like how we choose to perceive what's outside of us. So let's start meditation. Find a spot. It doesn't have to be outside. You could even be doing this walking. Please don't close your eyes while walking. I mean, maybe around the house you could do that, but so find a spot that feels really, really settling. But it could be within noise, could be within some chaos. You could be at a cafe, wherever you are. Settle within. Find your alignment, that center line in between where you sit and your head up into the sky, or if you're lying down, balanced. And just notice the places that you touch the ground and floor. Notice the places that your body touches itself. Let go. Each little part of you settle in. We're going to start with our toes. Just feeling our toes. Where are they? How do they feel? And just work yourself up to your pads of your feet, the tops of your feet, and the sides of your feet, into your muscles, joints, into your ankles. And as you do this, find your breath and take it to these spots, into your feet. Imagine that as you breathe in, your feet start to glow. They start to bloat up and create space for that glow and light. We're going to take that light as we breathe in all the way up the calves. And as we breathe out, we're going to start to let go the holding. Let them sink. Let them surrender. They don't have to hold anymore. They can trust in the ground. They can trust that they are safe. Envision the light beaming in the hollow space of the breath. And exit, like smoke out of the body, any tension and holding again. Bring it into the knees and the thighs. Breathing it in and breathing it out. Take it up into the hips. up into the spine and core. Really make space for that light, moving from the feet all the way up into the hips and core. And exhale all of that tension. Bring it up into the ribs, the shoulders. Let the light really soothe all of the organs in between, all the muscles that still feel like they have to grip to keep you up. And as you exhale, let the gripping go. Like a release and a relief. Like a balloon fizzling out. Imagine that you are almost fully lit. Like the reverse of a candle. Take the light into the shoulders, all the way down the arms, all the way down the forearms into the hands. And only your wick, which is your neck and head, are unlit. Breathing out. Allow yourself to make the breath really loud. Through the nose. It's almost the opposite, right, of a candle. For now, to create the light in the head and neck, you have to blow it out. And each blow out provides more space for the breath in and the fire within that will spark from the neck all the way up into the top of the head. Notice any vibration that may come, like the flickering light moving. We're going to sit with this in silence. Experience your own flame, your own flicker of light. And on your next inhalation, I want you to come back to this glowing light within. Imagine yourself taking this feeling, this movement, and change like fire within to everything that you do. Everything that is around you is change and movement. And you dance with it, just like the fire does with wind. And you feel it within. You're going to sit with that movement like a flame within and notice how the inner body changes. Notice how it moves even in this small moment with the things that are happening around you or with your own mind. Keep with the breath and focus on the inner workings. On your next inhalation, bring yourself back into the body in a way that you're fully present where you are right now, really noticing all the sounds around you, the smells, how your hands feel, if they're touching anything, how your feet feel, and your face. Let little parts of your face start to move, the intricate muscles of your face, hands, and toes. Let them awaken with slight movement. And take a deep breath in and out. Allow yourself and your spine to start to rotate and stretch. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes. Come into this space. Thank you again for being here. This is the work, and it is so important because once you start to really listen and take that practice moment in the easiest of spaces, it'll start to get easier when it's harder. You start to realize that you can hear. You can hear what you're saying to yourself. It's going to be a little disconcerting sometimes, but know each time you come back onto the mat, time for meditation is the time to separate and to remember you're not that. You're not those bad words, because they're unconscious and they're from your history, your story. And you can choose. You have free will. And that's what the practice is about. How do we use it? How do we go with the flow and be like a child and excited again? Don't we all want that? To get our mojo back, to feel good in our skin again. Have a great day.